He's fragile.
Yeah, sit your ass back.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
No! Not bite you.
You act like you're at the doctor's office waiting room getting ready to be checked for gonorrhea. Jesus Christ, boy.
He's gotta get.
I am sitting awfully close to you.
Are we recording right now?
We are. We are recording.
Hi everyone.
What's going on?
Welcome to my hell.
Welcome to the Knowledge Cast, where knowledge goes to die.
Doesn't have gonorrhea.
This is awful.
Wow, really?
That's as far as we know. Just disclaimer.
For the record.
How do you know?
Who's
I
got
said as
gonorrhea?
far as we know, he doesn't.
Are you tired of the constant drip, drip, drip of gonorrhea? Use liquid plumber. Just drink that shit. It'll be alright.
I need
It may burn a little. That empty
tray
feeling.
back.
He's got one right there.
I have the
Well, I could
plus.
have reached it if you guys didn't make me sit back.
You know what? Shut up. I have the +2 tray of ash.
That's
No,
my joke. You steal my jokes.
Don't make an
constantly.
ash on my floor.
For real, like
you're
all
just
you
mad
do.
because I'm Batman. Quit making an ash of yourself, man.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I am not Batman. This hurts my voice to talk like this. I am Batman. I am emphysema. I am emphysema Batman. I destroyed my house.
Besides, you know what?
I was watching
You know
it
what?
the other day, and I realized that Christopher Nolan wrote it, directed it, produced it. I was like,
Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do I know that name?
He
He
directed Batman.
the three new Batmans. Those are his.
Batman.
No, I know him from somewhere else. Because I didn't know he had anything to do with Batman.
Yeah, we used to play poker with him on Thursdays.
Oh, okay. That guy.
That guy.
That guy. The one who always talked funny and...
Real intense.
Yeah, right?
I got a full house.
We're a
Wait a minute, wait.
What's going on?
This is the hand this game deserves.
Not the one it needs.
Remember, I kept asking, I was like, dude, why are you so serious?
Oh my god, that was bad. I'm sorry.
That's the other new. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
No,
I just smacked him in the face.
Do you think he's sat there laughing?
He might, yeah.
The
It's
joke was
okay.
pretty
He's having
funny.
surgery tomorrow. We can hurt his knee.
Right?
Remember?
I'm
We're gonna
getting
fix it.
morphine tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
Go away from morphine.
I don't know what I'm going to get. But
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had morphine, so I
Well,
don't know.
But they asked me if I had any problems with, painkillers, and I said I don't know. I don't
Dude, they
think
give me morphine.
You're allergic to it, aren't you?
No, I'm allergic to codeine.
You're allergic to morphine.
Morphine I can have.
Somebody
I
is
had a
allergic
reaction
to
once. I'm
morphine.
not
I'm
allergic.
no morphine, no less fiend.
Give me morphine, and apparently I start hitting on random hospital staff. That's what happened. last
Regardless
time.
of gender.
Yeah, pretty much.
The colors come out.
And nurses kind of cute.
All
Hey!
colors come out.
Oh,
She
yeah.
becomes the rainbow.
In other
Taste the
words,
rainbow. What?
in other words, we need to take her to the hospital, spike her drink, and just let the fun begin. Just follow her around with the camera. Do you remember
There you
this?
go. See, you gotta stop and see Sam at the hospital tomorrow in video.
There you
How
go.
you feeling?
Actually, it's orthopedics, so it's hour in, and they kick me out.
Yeah, but then, you
And then
know,
Brenda's looking forward to going to work.
then you're sitting at home on morphine going, ah.
No, I'd probably be just whimpering and whining like I always do. Because I'm a whip when it comes to pain.
I am too. It's okay.
Oh.
Everything's alright.
I was lying, but thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
So, you know how we
I'm a
said
terrible wuss when it comes
Kansas
to
City playing today would probably be a bad idea?
Yeah.
They won.
I went a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, it's for a
27-21.
week.
Okay, so let's
Broke my
take
leg,
a
But I wanted to wait.
let's take a step back here real quick.
Oh, well, funny.
And
Ah,
happy the
yeah, let's just take a step. I see where you're going with this.
Pretty much,
What an
yeah.
asshole.
Because everything I say has to do with you.
Really?
Haha.
Sometimes. If I'm talking about you. Which I do sometimes. Behind your back. I want you to know.
Man.
Because if
It's all
I do,
good,
it's
though.
weird.
Actually, we don't know which way you're facing, but, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It could be beside you
Man, that's low.
at a distance.
That's low like that thing that's really low.
No, I've never talked below you.
You don't know where I've been.
I do know where I've been, and I've never gone that low. I'm just saying. That and I'm like, 6 inches taller than you.
Pull up the video.
Oh, no, there is no video of that. Anyway,
Hello.
So-
go.
what? Oh, Jesus Christ, boy.
You made me sit over here.
You know what?
Actually, I made you
Sit,
there.
Boo Boo, sit.
He was worried that you were going to try and play with his balls and give him gonorrhea.
Smelling?
So, Melissa, what is
Right? Well, that was weird.
I'm sorry.
Are you talking or what?
not yet, but she's getting ready to. So, what's up?
Oh,
Tell me.
I just have a little sports blurb for those who don't know. There was a player on the Kansas City Chiefs that shot and killed his girlfriend yesterday, and then drove to the practice center and killed himself in front of his coach. He said thank you for letting him play on the Chiefs first, and then shot himself. And then the NFL made him play today, but apparently it was all good because they won.
They made him play?
They made the Chiefs play.
Yes. they-
Oh.
Not the 10th play.
It's not getting you out of your contract.
No, you are in this forever.
But
Yeah,
nobody
shot-
said
Just prop him up at the sideline.
Shot himself in the parking lot of the practice center.
Shot himself in the head.
Hmm?
Means wrestling's fine, Sam.
There
I think
you
it would have been better if you would just said touchdown.
Touchdown!
That's
I feel like it's too soon for us to be making jokes.
It's never
It's
too
never
No,
soon.
it was the other day. It was on the Today Show. We can go. You can do whatever you
If
want.
it's
Yeah.
As long as it's
least
been
8
on the
hours.
Today Show, it's good.
It's all fair game.
Oh, okay.
Because today is so far behind, they should call it yesterday.
It's like
It should be the
today.
last week show.
It is a very weak show, but I don't know if it's going to be the last of them.
Well, I don't know if the predictions are right. Then on the 21st, it'll all be the last show.
Pretty much.
Which time zone does the end of the world start in? That's what I want.
You know, that's an
Universal
interesting
time?
question. Universal time.
Well, because
So what time is it now?
technically it's
Universal
tomorrow in Australia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
tomorrow will come.
It all runs on Universal time.
unless the
Hang on a
world
second.
ends.
Look it up real quick.
On their 21st, it'll be our 20th. So if Australia disappears on the 20th, we all know.
Well, Australia through several websites is pretty good about, like, you remember last year that guy was like, the world's going to end at this time. They
They're
were
like, nope,
posting
stop here.
updates, and they're like, it's 12:01, power's still on, everything's fine. 3 a.m., kind of hungry, power's still on.
Taco Bell is open.
Yeah, they were just being total smart asses.
As long as
They're like,
Taco
"Nope,
Bell's
we're
still
okay."
open, the world will keep turning.
Taco Bell will always be open.
Dude, even after the end of the world, they'll still be making those
Taco.
shitty burritos.
Taco Bell will be floating around in space.
Did anybody else see Demolition Man? Taco Bell won.
Yeah.
That's
It's
That's
a good
true.
movie.
We're going to Taco Bell.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so,
it's like a 5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
So do the
Taco Bell.
cockroaches still survive? You know, the end of the world because they're supposed to.
No, you know what? That is a very interesting myth
It'll
because
be cockroaches and Cher.
Cher,
Cockroaches
Keith
will be
Richards,
running the Taco Bells.
But he didn't.
Cher and Keith Richards will get married and control the roach
And
horde.
burgers.
Those will be their children.
I figured it
Yeah.
out. They're going to try and make new Twinkies at some other factory.
And it's gonna explode.
It's going to explode, releasing
Yep.
Well, actually,
millions of
Either
tons
that
of Twinkie
or-
dust.
you don't have to make Twinkie. Well, that's a different website.
Twinkiedust.com. That sounds like the name of a pony. Twinkie Dust.
Josh is like, no!
No, it doesn't.
My little pony.
My
No, there's a new episode on last night. I didn't watch it. I was
What?
It.
Say what?
There was a new episode last night, and I didn't watch it.
He's hard.
So we're gonna go ahead and call that progress.
No, he DVR'd it though.
Sure did.
No, I've seen your Netflix account. You got tons of that shit saved.
You know what? It's not saved. Nothing's saved.
But it does come up quite frequently.
It's like on a
like it's
playlist.
recommended.
The only reason that it's even on there is because it's on my watched recently list.
Okay. So,
It's not working. Why is it not?
Right
Yeah,
next to
that
Twinkie
day you let
Dust
Chuck
4.
use your Netflix or something. They were
Yeah.
like, really? Josh watched that?
we were going through your recently watched.
Why? No! Don't do that.
Yeah, it was fucked up. We were like, what the fuck, dude? Really?
You know what?
There were a couple on there that I was like, he told me he didn't even like that movie.
She did too.
I was like, oh.
He said he hated that movie. Okay, so the other day, Sam and I were having a very interesting conversation.
Stop making weird looking faces on the recording.
Oh, that's fine.
Because they're going to go, that guy didn't have
We-
that
we go.
conversation.
We were talking. Actually, you and I had this conversation once.
Oh wait a minute, I can do be my Stephen Hawkins.
It's the other way.
Go.
Oh yeah, sorry. My bad.
And we have offended Stephen Hawking.
Who is also
I love Stephen Hawking. I'm
You
just saying. I
love me
He's one-
Stephen Hawking.
He is one of my heroes.
I don't
Just
care
saying.
that he can't walk.
Please,
Or
stop touching my heart.
Thirsty.
Stop touching my penis. Don't touch me there.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Stranger danger.
Okay, anyhow, you were having this conversation.
Yeah.
We were talking about dark matter, antimatter, and the Higgs boson particle.
Are we on this now? Okay.
We are on this now.
Cool.
We are?
We are,
When
because it exists everywhere.
Well, always.
when did we? You said
Because
we
it is a
recently had
property
We,
of
no, I didn't.
energy.
I said we had this
Okay.
conversation.
It
I
cannot
not
be
recently.
destroyed or created. It only transforms
It can only be changed in form.
form.
Energy and matter have the same principles
I'm
under
thinking
Newton's
so.
laws. So it is my contention that that I subscribe to the theory of dark matter, and not so much antimatter, but definitely dark matter, because it can be viewed. It appears as visible under infrared.
Well, it's kind of funny that you bring it up because they were talking about it on the History 2
Okay.
a show called The Universe, and they were talking about dark matter, and dark matter is still highly contested because you can't view it, and that's their whole thing. It's there, but you can't see it. It's not visible on any spectrum that we can detect yet. They're hoping that someday science will advance enough, because he's saying, you know, there's dark matter under your chair, but you can't see it.
I was
In other words, they're trying to fill in the spaces between, and
see.
they can't.
That's where I was under the impression that under the infrared spectrum, with the Hubble telescope, they were able to not view the dark matter itself, but view the outline of the pocket of dark matter.
Well, what they're actually viewing is unhighlighted gases and dust particles in space, because they talked about that as well. Like a nebula cloud is the gases and the dust particles,
Mm-hmm.
but it is being highlighted by the light of the dying star, because we all know that a nebula is the leave behinds of a supernova. If you don't, you do now. But but the light that is coming from the dying star is actually highlighting it, and that's why they can see that. Now, when they use the different filters, they see like remnants of old systems where the sun has completely died out. It's gone, you know, beyond the white dwarf, and it's actually winked out of existence. It's just now
That's the exposed, huh?
a rock. But you can take a picture of anything, and you know.
Right. Just to bring everybody else up to speed, I pulled it up on Wikipedia, and just for general description and/or definition of the term dark matter. And according to Wikipedia, in astronomy and cosmology, dark matter is a type of matter hypothesized to account for a large part of the total mass in the universe. Cannot be seen directly with telescopes. Evidently, it neither emits nor absorbs light or other electromagnetic radiation at any significant level.
There's also a theory that that's what.
Well, if you scroll down, it also says dark matter is Lord Sidious's other apprentice.
Wouldn't that be Darth?
be dark matter.
Wouldn't that be Darth Matter?
Hey, you're making fun of his speech impediment.
Yes, yes, I am.
That's dark matter.
Dark matter.
I like chocolate windows.
Ew.
The chocolate windows.
And we're back to the chocolate window. Be glad you missed that part of the conversation.
Be very nasty.
So,
Well, in other words, they think they found everything, and now they're trying to find things that aren't there because they're not detectable, because they don't emit light or radiation of any kind,
nor do they absorb light.
or radiation of any kind. So it's the empty space,
Which,
So,
which they need to fill with something.
well, there is things inside of the empty space. There are things.
It's not empty space.
Exactly. It's
Wait.
not empty space.
okay, so
There is nothing in that empty space.
okay. By contrast,
Tony!
Oh, come on now.
by contrast,
Do that one
antimatter.
wide open.
By definition, in particle physics, antimatter is material composed of antiparticles which have the same mass as particles of ordinary matter but have opposite charge and quantum spin. Bind with each other to form antimatter in the way that normal particles bind to their counterparts.
It's like when Venus spins backwards.
It's
For
kinda
a
like
positron
Evil
would
Kirk.
be the antiparticle
It's
of
kinda
an
like
electron.
Evil Kirk.
Ah, evil Kirk.
Evil Kirk and Evil Spock is
And
kinda
then
like
antiproton.
that. They have beards.
That's what makes them evil.
That's
Facial
antimatter
hair.
has beards. That's all.
So
And you
Little
matter
particle.
it's basically,
beard on it.
by this definition, appears to be, say you have an atom, a hydrogen atom, with a positive charge. If you take that hydrogen atom and reverse the polarity, make it a negatively charged atom, then it's going to be antihydrogen. That's how it appears. If you reverse the polarity of the atomic particles, then
Wouldn't that undo the fabric of space-time?
apparently not.
No.
Wow.
It would react violently to matter.
Yeah, if you were to take antihydrogen and try to combine it, like put it in a particle smasher and try to combine it with hydrogen, then you would create
But
a massive explosion.
If it does have opposite charge, being that hydrogen is one of the building blocks of the universe,
Mhm.
it would be attracted to any piece of matter and it would instantly destroy itself.
Yes.
Well, antihydrogen, because of its polarity, any antimatter particle, antiparticle, because of its polarity, can only bind with other particles.
Right.
So you would have to forcibly, it'd be like trying to push together two same ends of a magnet. You would have to really forcibly combine them.
Okay. Well, see, that's where it confuses me because if you were to take a north pole and a south pole of a magnet, you're hard pressed to keep them apart.
Right.
And that's because of the reverse polarity.
Right.
And the same thing with you're talking about the flow of electrons.
Mm-hmm.
Electrons flow from positive, or actually from negative to positive.
Right.
So whereas if you reverse the polarity of the matter, then you're actually going to have electrons trying to bond with the reversed protons. So yeah, it's catastrophic. It wouldn't work.
And that's kind of my contention on it.
Because if you go with yours, then if you make antimatter and it repels from other matter, it's instantly gone because it would be repelled from you because the molecules are in everything.
Right.
So
I mean, the only way that you'd actually be able to even observe it is in an absolute vacuum with no other particles.
But isn't there dark matter in there?
Apparently, it doesn't react to dark matter as far as we know.
Because actually, it's a hypothesis.
Yeah. I mean, and it's all
And so
anything in
so
science.
Antimatter. It's
Yeah,
a hypothesis.
anything in science is going to be open to conjecture. It's going to be a hypothesis. Even if it's a hard set theory, you still have to have an open mind to accept the fact that it might be proven wrong.
Well, yeah. But why is the purpose? Why would we need it?
I'm not entirely sure.
Why do we?
I'm not a physicist.
It would help us understand how the universe was formed in the early days.
Doesn't matter.
It's created 6,000 years ago.
I'm just playing,
It's just
advocate.
knowledge, It's
But is it a knowledge that is going to benefit mankind?
it
So
might.
does it really matter that dinosaurs walked the earth? I mean, what is that going to benefit
Well, I mean,
us?
that-
We know there was creatures and plants from, because that's how the oil and the coal and
Right.
diamonds
And we
everything
find-
gets made later on. But
We find fossils and shit. We know that's elementary. We know that there were creatures
honestly,
before us.
we have found shit. Fossilized
Yeah.
shit.
Yes, we have.
We're just a nostalgic race.
So as a
Yeah.
race, we've never been divorced and lost everything we owned. We tend not to get sentimental after a while.
Well, I mean, it is man's.
What about women? Gosh, you were so sexist.
I am. I know, right?
You want to chime up over there? He's being so sexist. You should be slamming for it.
Slam him.
I just ignore it.
Wait.
She ignores me continuously.
No, I don't. You never remember our conversation, so what's the point of you
Doesn't mean I
talking?
was ignoring you. It just means I forget.
Means what you said had no connection to what I was thinking. There's other ways to say it, but that was the nicest.
That was the nicest possible way to say I wasn't listening.
Yeah,
This is the nicest possible way to say I was just staring at your boobs.
thank you. I work out.
Or yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
Wiggle,
I
wiggle,
can't do
wiggle,
that.
wiggle.
Show off.
That was not okay.
That's what it's not okay. You're
Well,
supposed to
not
flick the
today.
cigarette out of
It was
his
sitting
mouth.
Yeah, but
on
I've got
this-
this spray thing going, and he hadn't caught on yet. I'm just spitting all over. I'm spreading my boson particles.
You know that your boson particles is not one of those particles.
I have no idea.
It's the
We haven't got to
leftover-
that part yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Remember, I argue without the benefit of facts.
Well, if you want to know what the
He works for Fox News.
Yeah.
I report.
We
you
were
decide.
talking about it earlier. We have established that the Higgs boson particle is the subatomic particle that's left over from the smashing of
Pumpkins?
two atoms. You take two atoms, you put them in an atom smasher, like the one in
CERN. At
CERN.
CERN. in
For everyone at
Switzerland.
home, that's ATOM, not ADAM.
It's very unfortunate.
That could go a different way if we start
You know
slamming two
how I got that
atoms
name?
together.
You know how I got the name the God particle? Because they
I-
called it
I'm-
the goddamn particle.
Yeah.
And
that
they-
goddamn particle.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Which
what
is
it was.
They
exactly
smashed
what
an
it
atom.
is.
They saw a subatomic particle left over, and they're like, "What the fuck is that goddamn particle doing there?" Hey, that's a good name.
It wasn't that. This was we theorized it because he couldn't get it to work.
But,
So he dubbed it the goddamn particle.
I love when the news came out all over Facebook. They're like, they found the God particle. He's real.
One of the
That's not what it
significant, as I
Come
understand
on,
it, one of the
guys.
significant qualities of this subatomic particle is it has no ionization. It is neither positively nor negatively charged.
So that's what they make moon pies out of.
Must be.
Oh, moon pies.
They last forever because they're not real. But they're really cool if you chew them up. Go get me a moon pie. Come on, man. I had to go get you one. You're not
Question.
getting that stuff.
Moon pies are like chewy hockey pucks.
I've never chewed a hockey puck.
Me
I'll take your
either.
word for it.
You go ahead, take my word for it because they're not good.
Okay, so,
You're like, this could be good.
So this particle
is
is
garbage.
basically it's
the
leftovers,
leftovers.
but they have taken
So
it.
it's chicken fat and
Because of
grizzle.
its tiny size and mass, they have been able to accelerate, put it in a particle. They've been able to put it in a particle accelerator and get it up to, according to one report, up to the speed of light. Although they could never reproduce it, so that was either a fluke or a
Well, it goes back
a misreading.
to the second.
It goes back to Einstein saying that you cannot achieve the speed of light
Yeah, and so far we haven't.
because as mass increases, as velocity increases, so the closer you get to the speed of light, you end up with infinite mass, and that will actually create a drag because we all know space is not empty. Dark matter.
Right.
There are dust and particles, and then you got gravity waves.
But the friction is so low that until you start reaching critical mass, you are not going to you're not going to have
That's what I was waiting
much of
on.
any friction.
I was going to set that example for children in the world too.
Would you be so kind as to go in the office and grab another one?
Tell him no.
Don't do it.
I will not be kind.
Right.
I have nowhere to go.
But anyway, because of its
Immunitous
tininess,
statue.
yeah, because of its tininess, it can be accelerated almost to the speed of light.
It's literally like 99%.
Yeah.
We do pretty close.
It's upwards of 99%.
So, and it's the only thing so far that we've ever been able to get to travel that fast. Because all the other, if they try to do it with a full atom.
Okay. To me, it all just sounds like, and this is my conspiracy theorist, and like I said, I have to, bespeak the opposite side. if I built a great big electrical tube with a bunch of flashy lights on it and said, okay, now watch this, it's a particle you can't see, but trust me, it's there, and now it's going the speed of light. Did you catch that? Really?
Well, it can be recorded.
Yeah, there's
The data can be recorded. But the only problem
Give
with that
me a
is
computer and I can make anything look right. I mean, seriously.
Well, I mean, you have
seen
to
the
be-
Avengers?
You have to
You
be
think the Hulk is
skeptical.
real?
Well,
It's
how about
not.
Iron? How about Iron
Oh,
Man
I'm
2?
sorry. Sorry, world.
Okay, how about Iron Man 2? When Tony Stark creates his own particle accelerator in his living room and creates an entirely new element.
And well, it's kind of funny because when he splits the beam
Mhm.
to send it to his little triangle thingy, which they never said what it actually was, but
Right.
it was the metal, and he was using this particle accelerator to create an energy beam to charge this, which we all know is kind of funny. It starts
Yeah.
cutting through the wall, goes through the flammable cabinet, and doesn't explode. Just saying.
Well,
But-
maybe the cabinet was empty.
But with the same properties of a laser,
it would have kept going.
it would have kept going. He should have cut San Francisco in half.
They
Well,
didn't show that
a laser
Oh,
does not
there
have
you go.
a laser
deleted scenes.
The camera lens didn't extend out the window.
because of molecular diffusion. A laser does not have infinite range.
No, but it would still.
Then I've got some apologizing to do to some Martians.
If you
You're pissing me off, Earth person.
if you take a 1 watt laser, 1 watt laser has a
Watt
range
laser.
of about 75 miles, 70 to 75 miles. But after the end of that 75 miles, the light will be so diffused it will not register it as a laser.
Okay, so is a laser light or is a laser just energized particles?
It's both.
Is the light the resultant of the energized particle?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's how it works.
Okay. So it's not like you could just take a flashlight and put a lot of mirrors on there with different convex.
And
And
focus it
Keep
into a
focusing
laser.
it into a laser.
No, your power source would have to be much more significant than that. You cannot
But
amplify
it's
light.
Duracell.
But you can't light amplification doesn't work to that extreme.
Oh. Sorry for about all the product dumping. I'm not really endorsing anybody.
Oh, we endorse shit all the time. We're trying to get sponsors.
Red Bull.
Mountain Dew.
Dr. Pepper.
Red Bull.
Pepsi.
Marlboro.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Moon pie!
Marlboro gives you wings.
Twinkies. Oh,
Oh,
wait.
too soon.
Chocolate mirrors.
Twinkies,
Windows.
we miss you.
Chocolate windows.
Chocolate windows.
Okay, chocolate window.
For a better future.
Chocolate windows.
How are chocolate windows going to bring us a better future?
They just told me to say that.
Now, the question is, once it's broadcast, how many people are actually going to go to Google and type in chocolate windows?
You'd be
Well,
amazed.
each episode only gets about 10 viewers, so that's 10 people.
And how many times do you watch it?
Twice.
Put this on Twitter. We are going to get chocolate windows.
2, 1, 2,
Trending.
3,
How many
4,
do you
5. Oh.
Never watch it.
He don't watch it. He don't ever watch it. He's supposed to go back and
I don't
watch them
watch
and then do the links page on the website. He doesn't.
I've seen maybe 30 seconds of one.
It's magic.
And smoking is bad for their health.
You're
That's all right.
lucky
I just showed my ass to the internet. It's not that kind of site.
So did I, but I can't tell you the website.
We do not promote porn.
Hey, I got Facebook credits for it, though. That's what I'm saying.
You got... Really? How'd you do that?
You got Facebook.
I want in
credits.
on this.
You show your ass to the world.
It's better than money.
Right? I use it more than
It
money.
is called Guess This Ass. You just take a picture of your ass, you put it up there, and if
I'm on
nobody
that
guesses
website.
it, if nobody guesses it, yeah, you're just there to browse.
Yeah. You know me. Love
Window
browse.
shopping.
Ooh. There's hair. I don't know, a man, a woman. Who cares?
At this point, it matters not. It could be anything you want it to be.
Now, did the hand lotion place really call themselves Jergens for a reason?
Right?
I'm just saying.
Maybe, I don't know, you know,
Jergen
maybe,
lotion.
which came first, the use
Well,
or
the
the
chicken
name?
had to. Never mind.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you really want to get into the
Wow.
philosophy of this
We went
question,
from Boston Particle to this.
If you were
It's
no,
still-
We're
the
still
chicken or the egg.
the ultimate reality. Of
The ultimate question. Yeah. Okay, so let's ask what
The
what
ultimate
did
it
what came
depends.
first, the chicken or the egg? What's your opinion?
The
Yeah.
rooster.
Yeah.
Yeah, see what you did there.
Dirty jokes.
Egg, by the
Someone
way,
might
not
have-
that my opinion counts. But
The egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was coming around.
It's just working.
It basically goes back to what if we're going to separate the science from the theology, because you gotta think about it. You know, God said, "Let there be light."
And see, I'm a firm believer in the combination of science and theology.
I'm a firm believer in science.
Well, that was high school.
See,
We are a
see
pretty
these
mixed up
two.
group.
Yeah, we are. We're a pretty diverse group. So,
That
because
made me the token.
token what? I don't know. What do you believe? What's your belief as far as the combination or separation of church and or not church and state?
wow.
Science,
Religion and
science,
I think-
science and religion.
Well, to the church and state, there is no separation. You believe,
There should be,
You
though.
believe in the church that the state tells you. I don't believe me? Look back at history.
Right. Yeah. But as far as science and religion,
I think I subscribe to the this close theory. Everybody's this close to the truth, but nobody's willing to let go of their established dogma to actually embrace the truth of the ultimate reality.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's nice.
But
I like that.
I think you just achieved two followers there.
That's awesome.
You're like 2 steps closer to your own cult.
I'm
I mean,
All I need is a blue
devoutly
oyster.
atheist, so
Shall I go make some Kool-Aid?
I got my coffee, thanks.
I don't have arsenic,
hot
please.
Kool-Aid. Hot Kool-Aid.
hot Kool-Aid.
Ew, no, that is so wrong.
Drink it!
You know what hot Kool-Aid is?
I made this for you.
That's what little kids find when mom puts that bowl of colored stuff out there on the table just before it goes in the fridge. Ooh, look, hot Kool-Aid. No, it's Jell-O, you idiot. And then they come back later and it's just peeling off their chin. Did you get into it? No.
You ever had hot Kool-Aid? Make it in a coffee pot?
It's great.
That's disgusting.
You people are fucking weird. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
science and
We have
religion.
to link to
Okay.
it now.
Steph, your opinion.
Do I like
Separation of
religion?
science and religion.
He
What do
likes
you
church
think?
and
I don't think there is like a separation because.
But do you feel like there should be?
No, I mean it's
Maybe-
whatever you believe.
Oh,
Okay.
should there be or is there?
Well, is there and should there be? I mean,
I think we should use science to, in my opinion, disprove religion, but if somebody else's can be proved.
okay.
Okay, well, religion is just a concept, so there's not anything
Well, yeah.
to prove.
Well, I mean, like-
it's based upon a belief system that has no foundation in actual facts.
Yeah.
Depending upon your religion.
There are, yeah.
Scientology, in this instance, can't count that way because
No.
it is science.
Well,
and we're talking about the
Scientology.
difference between science principles and theological principles.
Scientology.
Scientology is a religion based on
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
um,
L. Ron
sci-fi.
Hubbard's book.
Yeah.
Dude,
And I really don't want to
Scientology-
worship Tom Cruise.
Scientology-
I'm sorry,
Yeah, no.
but I don't.
all Scientology is one science fiction author deciding, I'm gonna be God.
He made a lot of money.
He did. He made a retarded
And he
amount
found
of
some
money.
whack jobs to go, okay.
Yeah, and then they started the college and all that. I personally believe in the combination of science and religion, as in science can explain, up to a certain extent, obviously, a lot of theories in theology.
Okay, theory doesn't prove anything. Theory is a guess. That's not a fact.
Nothing is fact. I mean, when you look at the world, there are very few
Yeah.
facts. I mean,
There are known principles.
yeah.
The founding principles of physics, they're known.
I mean, you have Newton's
can-
laws, and that's pretty much the only thing that has ever existed in physical reality.
Because it can
Here's
be
the
proven.
that's the difference
It can be
between
quantified, it
science
can
and
be
religion,
measured.
though. Whereas in religion, nothing will change. These are the facts. What is in this book is true. Where in science, it's like, oh well, maybe we were wrong about this. Let's
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I like about
no,
science.
because you got to look at it I hate to contradict you on that statement, but when you look at religion, look at Christianity itself. Why are there different denominations if nothing changed? If these are the facts and that's all there is, why does everybody look at the
Because
same
everybody
book
interprets something
Yeah.
differently? So
Yes,
that means
but-
that they are saying, like the Nazarenes say the Catholics are wrong. And the Catholics say the Baptists are wrong. And the Southern Baptist says, everybody's alright!
I can get behind the everybody's all right.
I ain't getting behind nobody. You're weird.
We're going back to that website.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want to get into just general theology. Everybody, as they were saying, everybody looks at the writings, whatever your religion is. Everybody's going to look at that and have their own personal interpretation, and then they find like-minded people. They gather together. They form a new denomination.
So if I were to form
Then
the first
somebody
church
sleeps
of
with somebody's
chocolate
wife, and they've got to
bakers.
change the wording. And
Well,
I don't like
well, I
that.
mean, even in Catholicism itself broke, and that was just a denomination of Christianity. They broke apart.
They were the
several
first
times.
denomination.
well, it seems like in religion, the
No,
only changes that
they
are brought
weren't.
about are for they
They're
legally
in
have no
Christianity?
option.
No, they weren't.
I
Paul
thought
was
that
not the first pope. He was the first preacher of Christianity.
well, it was over 1,000 years after the death of Christ before the Christians actually formed a set religion.
It wasn't until the Romans embraced it before Catholicism actually took root.
Under Emperor Constantine.
On his deathbed, because he was like, what if we're wrong?
Yeah, right?
Let me
Guys,
study for the finals.
Yeah.
now that I'm sobering up, I'm starting to realize maybe we went
And then,
about this the wrong
Maybe
way.
Caligula was wrong.
I think we may have killed the Son of God. Oh, that's no good.
He gets there and God's like, I have a bone to pick with you.
Well, to be honest with you,
God,
it wasn't
I don't
until
like shrooms.
the emperor
Pretty
deified
did a lot of drugs.
the Roman
Cocaine's a hell of a
emperor
drug.
deified Christ. Said
Right.
that Christ
Not bad.
was actually the Son of God, because Jesus' message, and if you read it in the Hebrew text, is saying He is the Son of Man like everybody, or
Yeah.
the Son of God like everybody is.
We're all
children
of God. In the book of Mary Magdalene, Christ told Paul, "Do not raise a church to me. Do not worship me. Worship God. Do not do anything that takes away worship.
But you're
You know,
really trying to say
the
was don't
worship
pretend
of God."
near me.
Oh, I thought he was telling Paul to say, "Hey, tell John not to go out with Oko."
And he's going, who?
What?
It'll all make sense later. Just listen.
Make sure that doesn't happen.
And tell Michael Jackson
And
to
he's-
stay black.
Step
And
away
stop.
from the bleach.
Step away from the little boys.
Hey, didn't Lindsay Lohan do a movie about Michael
He was
Jackson?
acquitted.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was Liz Taylor. Look alike.
Wait, what? Lindsay Lohan and Liz Taylor don't look anything alike.
No.
But Michael Jackson did. What do you think all his surgeries was trying to do?
Look like Lindsay Lohan?
Liz Taylor.
Oh,
Wow.
right. Okay.
We'll get there
Look, I don't
eventually.
know.
Wait a minute.
I
Never.
never.
The Matrix. Welcome to the real world.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
There are two pills.
Why didn't I take the blue
Pill.
pill?
Right?
Dayquil?
I'm taking the NyQuil. Fuck y'all.
I don't know. I gotta be at work. And
Fuck your harsh
6
reality.
hours.
Ignorance is bliss.
Well, anyway, back to this close theory.
Mhm.
Theology can only cover so much. We all know that Christ is a real person. There's too many documents from too many different
Yeah, I mean,
countries
Not
and
really.
ancient.
no, they're all.
actually.
Pontius Pilate kept very clear and concise records, and it had Christ's teachings and followings and his arrest warrants were very well documented.
Yeah, they were anal.
Yeah.
In the
Severely. Yeah,
books that
we're
were
seeing
taken
movie
out,
Caligula.
though, Christ
They
straight
were
up
anal.
vaporized the kid for bumping into him. I don't know if
Okay.
he vaporized him, but
No.
he killed him.
You know,
Vaporized?
I hope he
death beams.
vaporized him.
okay, that's making him too much like a supervillain. You know, I mean,
Well, he
I
was.
do not believe in the theory of
He was
Christ
the-
having superhuman powers.
He was the first zombie.
Because if that was possible,
Eat my
I want my superhuman
Drink
powers.
my blood.
Here's my thing. I think-
that mom's house.
Yeah, twice.
Twice.
I think because Jesus was a good healer, and he was into the herbs and all the medicine stuff. He was also
He
a
was
really,
into.
He was into the herbs.
but he was a good magician.
Oh, check it out.
A good what?
Magician.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna walk across this wall.
I mean, he
tonight.
could
What
have
is
just
my
had more
dad?
common sense.
Maybe.
The guy sitting
Whoa.
there, he can't see it. He's got pink eye. And Jesus said, well, here, take some of this wine, which has an acid base to it, and rinsed his eyes out and got the pus out. And he goes, I can see! This close.
Yeah.
That means that story was this close to the truth.
The little lame boy. Okay, maybe the little lame boy had a broken fucking leg, and here comes this guy who knows how to set a bone. Hey, there you go. You can walk now. You know, Lazarus.
Or your
Lazarus
hips
was-
popped
He
out
was
of
taking a
socket.
nap.
Well, you got to think about this. When people got
Hey.
ill and they became coma, that's dead back then.
He's up.
Yeah.
So they put him in a cave, and Jesus is just walking around and comes across his funeral, and he goes, hey, what's going on? And he heard, and he goes, Lazarus, come forth! Dude, he wasn't dead. And everybody's like, he was! You brought him back to life! And he's
Right.
going, why did you lock me up?
Or at the very least, maybe the guy was in a coma. Maybe, you know, like Steph said, maybe he was just a really intelligent healer and said, hey, let's give him this herbal mix, pour it down his gullet, and that'll wake him up. There you go. And then they're like, oh my God, he was dead. Now he's alive.
Good.
But he was never the same.
Gullet, you know.
Never the same.
He
I
walks
did-
around going,
Like Phineas Gage.
brains.
Um,
And the Umbrella Corporation snapped him up. Started taking blood.
But yeah, again, I mean, it's all open to conjecture. It's all open to interpretation.
But
And
the
then you have
stories
to,
get handed down through the years.
If you
Things
wanna talk
change,
about-
but that goes back to my this close.
If you want to talk about interpretation, you can think about this. You got the Genesis, the whole theory of Genesis, right?
The band.
Yes, the band Genesis.
We're calling rocks, dude.
right?
No, Genesis says that the earth was.
I was thinking more tonight.
I want to hear this.
Whoa.
It's pretty
Okay.
interesting.
I listen
Your
to
Genesis
stuff all
theory.
day.
Okay, so Genesis says the earth was made in 6 days.
Mhm.
Right. So that most of it coincides with the Big Bang Theory, only because.
Go ahead.
Tread lightly.
I'm curious.
Tread lightly, young Padawan.
I don't know where this is going.
I was
No,
asked
go
not
ahead.
to overtalk.
All right, come on, let's hear him out.
I'm just sniggering.
Only because it doesn't matter if. Okay, all right. So you got the singularity event, all right?
Why are you doing this?
Because the singularity event is.
Bang.
a-
Come on,
a
didn't you see
point.
it coming? Big bang.
Maybe it's just my
You just
ankle.
ruined the
It's
whole
really
jazz
Yeah,
finger
come on,
thing.
really?
Come on now.
Seriously, I was gonna do it, and you fucked with. You fucked it up.
Fucked it up.
It was gonna be a surprise.
Okay, everyone.
Sorry.
The jury will disregard Stephen's previous remarks. Go
Here we
ahead.
go. You got the singularity event.
I'm sorry, it's
Right.
not working. I still remember his remarks.
You suck.
There's your Big Bang.
Okay, so there's nothing to say that a all-powerful being, you know, like God,
Mhm.
didn't cause that singularity event.
Right. You answer the question of what was the catalyst.
Way to work it in there.
Yeah.
But those
you
are
did.
spirit fingers.
Yeah,
Those are
Yes.
spirit fingers.
Well, I meant it's
These are just.
Those are spirit fingers.
These are spirit fingers.
right. Anyway,
So yes.
the only thing that Christians.
I'm listening.
I don't know why.
Stop
I'm trying
talking
to
when we
listen.
listen. He just mutters the whole time.
The only thing that Christians believe is the difference between the Big Bang Theory and Genesis is the fact of it's a timeline, an established timeline.
Right.
Well, that goes back into you got a cosmic being. How do you know how long his day is?
That's what I'm saying. In
Right.
Genesis 2, it says, "For a day to the Lord is but 1,000 years is but a day to the Lord."
Right.
Who's to say that that's not
Well,
totally
you gotta
How
think about it.
old
They didn't
can
have a
one
real
get?
good concept of time because Methuselah living to 969 years. Really?
Moses living for what is it, 316 years, or something like
Yeah,
that.
right until they found the promised land that he wasn't allowed to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the price he paid, because he, being a real savior, delivered an entire race of people out of slavery and into a desert where
Well-
most of them starved.
Well, it was only a
Details.
race to
Details.
try to see. after that, they were by themselves. So what are they racing against the clock?
Pretty much, because at that point they were starving. And for 4 generations they...
Yeah, but you can't really say they were starving
camping.
as a people because their race survived another 40 years.
And they weren't starving. It was
Yeah,
they had
they carried food and
They
crops.
just didn't have milk and honey, so their oatmeal tasted like crap.
They didn't have oats either.
they had mana.
Mana.
Yeah, which is crushed grass.
Is what they survived on.
Tasty.
So
Really,
really,
that's a good thing to tolerate. That really screwed them up.
right?
Then they would be gone, and the Holocaust would have never happened, and we wouldn't be talking about
Well, see, that's the thing. The Holocaust has actually happened several times. The Philistines did it. The Romans did it.
A
Well,
Holocaust.
The Catholics did it.
You
The
gotta,
Catholics did
You
it.
gotta call it a Holocaust because the Holocaust means that it affects everybody.
In fact, it affected
Like
everybody
when-
in the Hebrew community.
When like the Krakatoa volcano exploded, that actually affected everybody.
Just like Pompeii.
Pompeii didn't even affect everybody.
It
It affected all the
Effect.
cities. It had
I
an
don't know if I was
enormous.
about to kill
It
it.
was my phone. Don't worry about it.
It's a tyrannosaur.
Kill it.
So,
It's a portal to the netherworld. and a beast.
Bang?
so I mean, even Pompeii, yeah, it had a massive effect on all the outlying cities. Most notably, the city of Pompeii, obviously.
Herculaneum.
But when Mount Vesuvius erupted, it only affected that area. I mean, it didn't affect the world over.
But
Well,
still
actually,
set
it
2
did.
tons
Actually,
of
it
ash
did.
into
The amount of sediment that went up into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
In some way or another, it affected
it's
everyone.
still-
They found it 1,000. They found sediment from that volcano 1,000 miles away.
Always like that. Look, it's a rock. It must have come from someplace else. How old is that rock? Who knows? Who cares? It's a rock.
Hello?
Put it in the garden. It's pretty.
Hey. No, not yet.
I mean,
But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but the effects, and they are just now discovering the
Okay.
volcanoes that went off in Iceland just recently
Okay.
mhm.
is still causing global effects. It's affecting
Yeah.
things around the world.
But that was a much bigger eruption.
Not bigger than
I'll
Krakatoa
take out the trash too.
When was Krakatoa?
Alright.
in the 1800s.
Yeah. It's,
They
it's
heard
not-
that was over in the Philippine Islands. They heard the eruption in California.
Okay.
I mean, the entire island
Man, what is that?
blew up
noise?
one day, and now there's just this big hole. Actually, there's another volcano growing out of the crater of the.
That's
island.
where I heard that name because it's becoming Krakatoa is becoming active again.
Yeah, it's got a new name. It's Junior or something. But it threw the entire mountain into the stratosphere.
I'm Junior. I'm about to ruin you
And
talking
It's
windows.
like the Earth sneezed.
And at that time, over in England, they had like a little mini ice age.
Yeah.
And they're like going, what the hell? We only get snow for like a week, and now it is 30 years.
Yeah.
They had the record cold and snow, and it was because of the amount of stuff up there.
This is
reflected
rightly
the sun.
annoying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, nuclear winter.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Newscaster said
Um,
small flurry. 30 years is happening.
Okay.
I don't
So
think they really had meteorologists. They just had guys with rocks.
Well, I mean-
look at this rock.
you have other cataclysmic events that not as extravagant as that eruption.
Extravagant. Throw it all away.
And that's pretty much what Krakatoa did. Apparently, it just threw it all away. Whole fucking island.
Krakatoa was like dad after chili dinner. Deal with it.
But you have like the Dust Bowl in the early 1900s.
That was because they didn't understand how.
Right, over farming, but still
Pulling
that
the nutrients and moisture out of soil kind of leads to dust.
yeah, and that created a dust cloud. 80 miles high and traveled 1,500 miles across the United States.
Well, that's just a dust storm. I mean, that's happening all the time.
Not here.
Well,
in
that's
deserts.
Yeah, but that didn't used to be a desert until humans
I don't
went
even
there
know
and
what
overfarmed.
And
Not
rape
even.
the land. Of
Right.
course, I understand it. But see, from somebody who's been in the desert and had a shamal come at them, where you sit there and watch this wall of brown just come creeping across the desert going, hey, we can't outrun that.
Get the windows!
Well, etch the glass.
Yeah.
You know, we thought about putting, you know, little grease prints up here in design so we can, you know, wipe it off after the storm went by.
It had
Edge
edge
glass.
glass.
It would look really pretty. But
On a military vehicle.
I mean, being someone who, you know, there was so much sand in the air, we wouldn't be able to see nor hear each other. The winds are 70 miles an hour, and there's so much sand and particulates in the air, we couldn't see each other. Let me tell you, though, after it's done, you feel sparkly clean. It's like your skin's alive.
So you've been
Sandblasted.
sanded?
You're like, oh! But your oatmeal's crunchy.
I don't think I eat the oatmeal.
What else you gonna eat? Manna?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how I'm looping these back together.
Yeah, this is a nice
Full
little
circle.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's
Little circles everywhere here.
That's the
we
word.
had a conversation once about science and religion, and I like the way you worded it because we were talking about our instructor when we were in college. We had the same teacher.
Oh yeah, the history.
Yeah, and no, for anatomy, because somebody brought up something religious, and she's like, this is a scientific class. You have to remove religion from it and just look at it from the scientific. And this girl started going off about, oh, well, you're anti-God. And she says, no, I think God's the ultimate scientist.
Yeah.
But if I may elaborate, to interrupt if you had more to go.
No.
I'll sit here and be quiet. This close theory, you got to think about it, the Garden of Eden. Now, if you are a scientist to go along that way, and you are going to do an experiment, you create the world. 6 days, raise the waters, put animals, birds, and then make man. And you want to see how it works. You have to have a control group.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the Garden of Eden, which has everything it does here, but you've got it isolated. There are no external environmental factors. So you put it over here, and you're sitting there just studying it, and then you got to go back to the angels. There's angels and everything, and Lucifer's sitting there going, dude, you won't let me play with the Earth set, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to screw with your Eden set. Hey, you want to know how this really works? Eat the apple.
And it ruined his experiment.
And it ruined his experiment, and he got mad, and he said, I'm done playing, go down there. Because you gotta think about, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the stories. Okay, first of all, if it was a serpent, how bad is it to tell a snake he has to crawl on his belly? They do. Anyway, either he had wings or was a lizard with legs. So
Flying snakes.
Right.
It's gotta be bad. Eve's punishment was to have pain during childbirth. Now, how much is that?
In the period. To have the reproductive cycle altogether.
And man's was to deal with women. So great.
But the thing is how is that a punishment if
Which one is worse?
you didn't have childbirth without pain?
Well,
like going, I think I'm having a baby. Yes, I am! Look, Adam!
But prior to that,
Setting, oh my
Another one!
I do have one
Put it in the
interjection.
pile.
Prior to that event, though, there was no childbirth.
How do you know?
Because, again, in a control group, you have control.
There was Adam and Lilith.
Yeah,
Adam's first wife.
the first wife. He didn't like her. She wasn't
Not when Eve.
naive enough. She was made equal to him.
Well, depending on which cultural thing you look at, she was either an angel or just another human.
Well, see, my theory, going back, following your theory, that would make the angels lab assistants. Those were the lab techs.
Pretty much.
So,
What
they
about
were
techs?
there to observe and
Because
record all of the
groups.
groups.
Once they got expelled, okay, Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel. Well, they had to have other children. There's more reasons for that. But still, Cain kills Abel, and then he goes and hides. Why is he hiding? Well, the only people to hide from is mom and dad, right? So God goes, why are you hiding? And it's like, well, you must not have been hiding too well. You're God. You see everything until you found me. And he says, because if anybody were to come across me, they'll know me as a murderer and strike me down. Who? Mom? Dad? That's the only two people? There's nobody before that.
And see, that's my problem with the theory of creationism. There had to be more people.
So God put a mark on him, and he went out in the world to the land of Nod, I believe, and he found his wife and lived with her family. Mm-hmm. So there's a city. Where did the city come from?
Yeah.
Unless there were other people in the control group.
Could have been Eve's
Other children? Or Lilith's other children? Where the hell did Lilith go? This is the first time I've heard. This is the first time I've ever heard.
Well, it's because there's actually a couple different stories of Genesis where they say Adam and Eve were created together equally at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Adam became displeased with Lilith, and she was gone. Adam was
vaporized?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's got it. Just kidding.
God, I
man,
don't like Lilith anymore. You want me to snuff her? Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Woo!
Don't piss me off, woman.
And then he took his rib, and put him to sleep, took his rib, and then made woman.
Well, at least he put him to sleep first. Because imagine how bad that would hurt.
That might have been how he
Oh, she's pretty.
Do you like it? Yes, because I know what you're taking next.
Right?
This is great. Eat the apple.
So
Tell him about your sister.
So the theory of the control group, that's a really good theory. I like that one. I like that theory.
Eden, less the jokes.
Yeah, Eden was the control group for the overall experiment of life.
And Lucifer screwed it up.
Yeah.
Because he got mad at God. And it's in many of the stories of the Bible, Lucifer and God fought. Abraham.
It's the biggest problem in most of the stories that I've read, even in the Satanist text, it's vanity. Lucifer believed...
Oh, wow, I was thinking
not
of
all
that
of
female group made by Prince.
Some of them, Lucifer's kind of in the right. And not even the Satanist
80s movie reference.
He's like, look, you gave humans free will. You love them. You gave us
free will.
Half
I
will.
love that movie.
Okay, so it comes down to jealousy and also vanity.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, in most of the texts that I've read, it's Lucifer saying that he thought he could do a better job.
And if you watch a lot of your good versus evil movies, and they use the actual satanic figure, it comes down to God made the angels first. He made his lab techs.
Right.
Like I'm going to take this major undertaking, the universe.
Better make some help.
And I'm going to need, little helpers. I can't monitor every detail, so I'll get all these things. Poof.
So God is Santa.
He had his angels. And then he's sitting there going,
with his
He
little
made his little elves.
This-
That's a good analogy.
now we need to make a list. Naughty. Okay, we'll make a nice list too. But and then the universe was doing good, well on its way, and he found this planet, and he's like going, I wonder what I could do with that. Let's try little tiny creatures on this little dust mote right here. They died right away, so we better put water.
Woo, that was a mistake.
Dodge that bullet.
Well, I mean,
and
really-
then in his control group, and then he started spending all his time. Because if you read the older text, God was very active with early man.
Yeah.
And where is he now?
Yeah. Well, we have evolved to a point to where we are not necessarily in need of such intervention.
Well, it also comes back to, did God make man in his image, or did man make God in his?
Right.
And if that's the case, then man can kill God.
Well, it's proven by the number of atheists.
What is that number?
It's pretty.
Whatever
high now.
that number is,
Like 40%.
Google it!
I think, let's.
Current number of atheists in the world.
Somebody.
You should do percentages. It'd be easier that way.
Yeah.
I want actual.
Hold on.
Because I think it's
based upon the number.
Oh, you're
Based
fine.
upon the percentage.
Because I think it's almost 40% now.
I hope it's that high.
I think
Well,
it is.
again,
Why would you?
and again,
'Cause I'm one of those
God
that
was
believes
paying
once
more
we become
attention
a
to
religious
his
society
new
before.
people that he created, and that created jealousy between the firstborns.
Right.
It's like the new baby comes into the family, the firstborn child gets a little jealous of him.
Or
smack-
according to the Addams family, when you have a new baby, the older children must die.
something similar to that effect, or you just drag them around
Which
the house by their
theoretically
feet,
would have made
smack
me
them
the
with
last.
hammers, walk them into trees, stuff like that. You can relate now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that they're paying more attention. Well,
Mhm.
you give him a reason to. He's bleeding again. And then it becomes, they get into even further disdain about mankind, because Lucifer's like, hey, you could do this better. telling me I can do this better, and then they have little contests throughout, mankind.
I'm
It's like,
sure it's
here,
much
Lot,
I think
you
that's
know,
just
Job,
statistics.
Yeah.
Abraham. Hey, I bet you I can get him to throw his kid up on that altar. I bet you won't kill him. It's a bet. Why? I can't do it. Then you win. All right, I won the bet. Give me a
No,
dollar.
he stopped him.
God stopped him.
No, angel stopped.
Yeah, the angels did.
No.
The angel
Guys,
stopped.
God's just really drunk right now.
It's just a bad. Don't do it.
Hey,
won't even remember
I
tomorrow.
made Reaver.
And see, that's,
Dude, throw your kid on the rock.
but see, and
Got an idea.
that's another thing. Going
This might
back,
make
that's where I have another theory on creation. I don't believe that God was actually trying to create specific animals. God was collecting elements, throwing shit in the pot to see what came up. You know? Basically, you take a bowl, you start throwing in ingredients, and out of curiosity, you want to see what it makes.
Okay, now to throw the science into that, that's an impossibility. You can't just randomly throw things together. We talked about this the other
You got to
day.
have some kind of plan, yeah.
It's like a hurricane going through a junkyard and making a fully functional aircraft carrier.
It happens.
It's
Right.
it's a physical impossibility.
It's
In order
not.
to get
It's
something
not
that
impossible.
complex, you have to make a go at it.
It's
You can't just
impossible.
throw a bunch
But
of
they
bolts in a
have-
box, shake it up, and dump out a Lamborghini.
But they
That
have
would be
made,
cool.
but they have
Come
made
on.
significant.
Everybody's gonna be hungry.
Fuck privilege.
Chocolate window.
Wrong box.
But they have made significant
Who took my bar?
discoveries in chemistry by accident, by mixing things together to see what would happen, conducting experiments.
Exactly, but they did not come across a hairless, upright walking ape with opposable thumbs by
But
accident.
they didn't have that.
They're not like going. Wow,
No,
that's amazing.
Not
but
yet.
think
We're
about
going
it.
for Velcro.
But think about it from
We got
the
like 19 more days, okay?
think about it from the perspective of ultimate atomic power and control. You have the power to hold in your hand all of the elements required for creation of life.
All your bases are belong to us.
So you know going into it that you're going to create a living thing, but maybe you don't necessarily know what it's going to turn out to be until you get it all mixed together and then set it in place, and then it grows into a platypus.
But
And you're like, oh,
but-
that's interesting.
But science, okay, well, that can come off of using mutation as experimentation. But you're not going to come up with such a complex organism by random.
No,
Science finds stuff by accident, not by goofing around with the
Right.
particle accelerator.
Well,
hey, let's take this goop and shoot it to the speed of light and see what comes out.
right. I didn't.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay, so I misspoke.
No, they're actually looking for specific things. They want specific things to happen
Yeah.
so they can say, look, this is a constant of the universe. We have to be able to repeat it. So let's shoot this and see what happens. This is what happened. Let's shoot it again. Crap, it didn't happen.
Well, that's because everything.
No, we gotta
just
figure
by-
out why.
Just by observing it, you change it.
Yeah.
No, you stay the same.
No, he changed.
I did because I was talking. You looked at me and I stopped talking. I didn't mean to.
By observing it,
But it
you
happened.
change the outcome.
But anything that you observed, you inherently
so-
change.
There's no such thing as an accurate measurement.
No, because everything.
It depends on how finite your measurement is.
Remember, measurements is just
If-
perception of man.
Yeah.
With time,
Anytime-
depth, weight, mass, everything is just our own perception. It's how we can classify how in our mind we can make order. Because if you look at the dog, he just sniffs it and goes, hey, can I fuck it? Can I eat it? Or is it going to hurt me?
Right.
Other than that, he doesn't care about it. If it's not one of those things, he just wanders away. Or he pisses on it and wanders away.
Right.
Only man needs to quantify things.
Exactly. The quantification of anything is a construct of man. But I did misspeak. I misspoke myself earlier. I did not mean that it was a completely random event. I mean, there was obviously a design, a control, but maybe the outcome was not what was entirely expected.
Well, maybe he started with Mercury and said, "Oh, let's try this. Oh, no, that's too hot.
That was a bad idea.
Let's try this one. Let's go out here and try this. Oh, that's really cold.
Oh, that one sucked. We'll call that
So-
Uranus.
Yeah, maybe he was just playing around, and then he goes, "Hey, this one's got water." And
Hey, Michael, you remember that time I tried to make people out of cyanide? That was a bad idea.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Mars, all he got was some bacteria.
Yeah, let's.
And Martin.
It's like, hey, let's try this one as a hydrogen-based planet. Okay, that won't sustain life. That doesn't give me the desired outcome. Let's try this as a carbon-based planet.
If you're God, you define life.
Yeah, so it would.
Well, I mean, life is grossly defined as able to sustain itself.
Yeah, but
So is God life. He sustains himself.
I haven't met him yet.
the only thing about it is the only thing that we know about life is what we can observe on this planet.
Okay, we'll go back to this close. What if everybody's right?
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Not anybody's wrong. Everybody's right. They just don't want to be right together.
Yeah.
But they collect in groups because the ultimate nature of reality is we are all but a dream. The row your boat theory.
Mm-hmm. Life is but a dream.
We are actually all part of a singular consciousness separated into these individual cells.
No, it's turtles all the way down.
Yeah, that's also his theory.
Okay. Well, Edgar Casey also went on. He went along with this as well. And so all we're doing is we're living our lives just to gain the knowledge of what it's like to be us.
Yeah.
You are you. I can't tell you how you are, only you can because you lived you. You can't tell me because you have to live it as me. And once we're done, we go back to that collection.
To
Now,
the
That was my exact theory.
Now, pair bonding follows along with that. You find someone you connect with, your soulmate, someone who reminds you of that ultimate consciousness that you want to get back to. Because that's your sole purpose. Live this life, get back there. And then you find someone that reminds you.
Upload the information that you gathered.
And then groups form,
Like the Borg.
Resistance is futile.
Assimilate.
Yeah. Assimilate. When you return to the collective, you assimilate the knowledge that you gained in this
Crap,
life.
I just talked us into Borg.
Yeah.
So I wonder if any English professor anywhere said, "All right, you have an essay to do on religion. Compare it to Star Trek and the Borg."
Well,
That's easy for me.
I compared
You
modern
had
medicine
science
to
fiction.
automotive repair.
You had to do Star Wars in World War II.
Well, I didn't have to. I chose to.
Well, I'm
but
just
yeah.
saying, but
Because you couldn't
Yeah.
think of anything else, you nerd.
But no, I mean, but yeah,
Chocolate windows
like
on
you
the
said,
jet.
when it comes down to it, religion.
We can't fire the Death Star. Someone licks the window
There are no
for the laser.
Someone licked the mirror on the laser.
Shotgun window.
Someone licked the window that was
that chocolate?
blocking that ventilation shaft. So we're having that replaced.
It wasn't me.
We're running about an hour, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
been fantastic.
It's 8 o'clock.
And
So-
Josh has to watch last week's Walking Dead.
I
Yeah,
didn't get to see it.
yeah. We told him all about it.
Don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Oh
don't-
wait, that was the one before that. Sorry.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're gonna cut this one short. Not short, long, whatever.
just gonna say bye.
Normal time.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Bye.
See,
Until next time.
but what is next time?